How you doing?
You gotta love smug ass Chip saying hello to us.
he throws the Joey Tribbiani. How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
All right. So how are you doing, Ignacio? Speaking of which, are these good?
I'm good. I'm better. How are you doing, Nick?
Better after
Younger Nick.
After after a little bout of COVID and running through the house. It's good to see that you're well and the family's doing relatively okay.
Yeah, we're good.
But
So you what happened?
I want to address. Let's discuss that. I want to say, I want to address the elephant in the room and get this out of the way before, because the question is
Please.
going to be asked.
Yeah.
What did you do to your face? Like, I mean, there's something different. Like, you did something different with your beard. I mean, you look completely different.
Yeah, I did. I shave it in a tiny point here, and I shave I trim my hair. That's
Okay.
it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I could do the point too, because it tells them where to go. Like
Yeah.
down that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just the normal stuff. It's actually growing. I'm thinking about growing a beard, so
You should. It would look good on you.
it's coming in gray. I'm a little worried about it though.
No, dude, looks cool. Gray is the new black.
God, I hope so. All right, let's say hello to who's here in the chat. I know Mr. Marcus was here for a while. I logged in early. He was like, he's ready. So he's ready. How are you, Mr.
Hey, Marcus.
Las Cruces.
James.
Every morning on my Instagram feed, that guy is posting something comic book wise, and I'm like, wow, this guy's got a collection.
He knows what's up.
He does.
Austin.
Hey, that one's to the left of me. Yeah, and coming from that guy, as young as he looks.
Yeah, he looks younger than me. So shut up, Austin. Come on. Baby face.
Yeah, I'm hoping tomorrow night. Is it tomorrow night? It's not tomorrow. It's next week for DJ Lynx's 2,000 sub giveaway.
Yeah.
Austin's got a great piece of work that's going up. Then
the Wolverine one.
The Wolverine Williamsburg Bridge one. Or is that the 59th Street Bridge? I think that's the Williamsburg Bridge. Which was my.
Sorry.
I said,
I'm kind of out of the loop this week because of the COVID and all that stuff. I kind of went, hey, Joe, I didn't pay attention to a lot of things going on in the community. So it's nice that you reminded me that DJ Link has the 2K giveaway.
Yep, next week, a whole lot of prizes. I myself will be giving up a Black Panther 25 Gleason variant. Oh,
good.
What happened there? That was weird.
What happened? I don't know.
I got spinning circles for a second. Anyway, show moves on. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, since we spoke last, I think we left Thursday. Holes were like this.
Oh. Yeah.
And as we go along. Okay. So they gape a little bit. Mr. Whalen, how are you? But it's just for me. I've been filling those holes this week with just dad stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I've been filling holes with mostly with fever, sleeping, Marty, and working when I can. When I gather myself enough, I would work. I managed to finish a comic this week, so that's kind of good.
Always good. I realized that the Kickstarter was sent out a whole lot of updates this week as far as goals being reached and whatnot. So that looks like it's progressing well.
Yeah, it's progressing really good. We had a few interviews. I had to cancel one because I was sick. but Gerald, my partner in crime, did a couple of them, and we have a big one tomorrow with a panel of creators. So that's kind of good. And I was hoping to feel better for today and tomorrow, so I'm good to go now, luckily.
Yep, the refractory period is over. Ignacio is now ready to go, baby, ready to go. Which is always good because, like I said, there are gaping holes we need to fill. These people just need to know what's going on. So we do have a topic this week, and it's one that's near and dear to my heart.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Fingers.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You want to know what was up with my fascination with the crow?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm not the only one. That's one amazing. It's McFarlane, right?
This is McFarlane. I don't understand. Like, this is his posture.
Well, there's some creative liberties.
Yeah, I don't know if he's expecting something, waiting for something. Like he's got like a hand on a head or something like right here. You know, he can't be like Tyler's
Tarzan. Yeah.
See, your face is just dominating the conversation, Ignacio. This one made me laugh though. No court appearances, Marty. So none yet, but still earlier in the day, and I still got some work to do.
But, dude, I remember the first time I saw my dad's face without a mustache when I was I don't know, like 8 years old. I have never seen him without a mustache. I think I cried. You know, I just woke up. I went walking by the bathroom. The door was open. He was there, clean shaven. Who the fuck is this dude?
And the response was similar in my house. I kind of held a towel up to my face. I walked up to my wife, and I kind of dropped it quick. And I expected her to say something weird, but immediately she was like, "I hate it. I don't know why you fucking did that. Why didn't you ask me?" I'm like, first of all, it's my face.
My face.
And I don't need your permission for anything. Can I go back into the bathroom now? Showing my son, who's 11, he saw me in the other living room, and he started walking backwards.
Oh shit!
So I was like, "What's going on? Why are you walking?" He didn't want to talk to me, so he was like, he's like, "Dad, I don't like it." See, I don't like it. I hope it grows by fast. But then he did this. You know, he's rubbed his hands over his face. I think as a father, you kind of owe it to your son or your children to let them see you bald face one time. They probably won't.
I mean, it works for them. At least they know your face. I don't know. I need to shave my. No, I'm not gonna shave. I'm gonna wait till my son is older.
But I'm gonna be honest. It feels good.
Yeah.
It may look weird, but it and I think Beckerman brought up. I haven't gotten into the pool. It's a little bit cold here, but I would have like not to have to worry about it, especially I was growing mine long, and it just gets uncomfortable. You know,
yeah, it's a food storage at one point.
Or it smells funny sometimes.
Yeah. The main thing, besides baldness, that I trim my hair or shave my head, it's because it's practical. I don't want to deal with combing my hair and dealing with shampooing or whatever. So if I have to do that in my beard instead of my, it's missing the point. So once you need to uh, uh, comb your beard, it's too long.
It's funny because back in December, like C2E2, it was the longest I've ever had it.
Yeah,
So
you
to
had a
go from that
massive
stretch,
beard.
and just for that, if you wake up and you sleep here, it'll be, there'll be like a spot here, or it'll be very uncomfortable. And like you said, it's either have to condition it, shampoo it, and it takes away from the whole thing.
Yeah.
But also, people think that it's easy to have a shaved head. Like it's less maintenance. It's actually more because you have
To
to
keep
trim
it.
it
Yeah.
2-3 times a week. So
Yeah, you dedicate too much time to it. I trim my hair like whenever I go live the day before.
mhm.
If I do it, I mean, I didn't do it last week, so I
Mhm.
did it for this week. But sometimes I do not shave or trim my hair for a month, but I'm lazy that way.
For me, that bothers me. When you have the reverse, and mind you, I'm the only one in my family who's bald. All of the patriarchs before me have had full heads of hair well into their 70s and 80s. For
So
me,
God doesn't love you
he
like
does.
He loves them. Yeah,
So we know where I'm going when it's time.
the funny
But
place.
it reminds me, like I hate to see that reverse
Oh yeah,
mohawk. So I have to shave it. So if it gets too long,
it's
I just
awful.
yeah. So, but let's get into the crow. I mean, everybody has seen all of my stuff here, which more will be added in that space soon. I dug out all of my little
Yeah,
tchotchkes.
you should make yourself big for this because I don't have anything good to show.
Mm,
So
let's try this one.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't like to be big. My mother's farm
well, I mean,
still had hair, both sides of the family. All
show
right, so
off.
I dug out. This was my favorite T-shirt. I honestly I have not worn this one. Um,
How long?
10 years maybe because it's kind
Well,
of
still
faded.
fits.
You can't tell. But I've had this one. I've had it since the late '90s, and
Dude.
I haven't worn it probably in about 10 years. But it was my favorite go-to shirt because it's just awesome. And along with the crow tattoos, which are, if you guys can see this one, this is a reenactment of that here. With a friend of mine who was a tattoo artist, he passed, and it actually left. I left it undone because I didn't want anybody else to work on it but him. But
It's okay.
there's some space back here that I thought about getting this part done, added in,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I don't know. Every time I try to do it, tattoos are expensive. I don't know. And do you have any?
Yeah. I have 1, 2, 3 tattoos. One I got when I was 16 from a dude that was starting to tattoo.
Mm,
So you can imagine how it looks. And the other two are practice tattoos from when I bought tattoo machines twice in my life. When I was 21 and when I was 37, and did 2 tattoos on myself. The first time I quit, I gave it away. The second time I did 2 tattoos to 2 different friends and then gave it away to one friend. So tattoos are not for me, and I don't like. It's too expensive for what I think it is, and besides, I want. I would change it constantly.
mm.
I want this. No, now I want this. No, now I want this. No, I rather not.
Yeah. So I mean, how did you get the one on? How did you get the tramp stamp on your back then? That was the one somebody
Oh,
else did.
Well, that's branding. That's not a tattoo. It's done with fire.
Tune in next week for that story. Now we'll get into this. Yeah, but every time I went back to get tattoos are very expensive now. It's like $150 an hour.
Yeah.
Like I got these little ones here, like within the year. And I mean, it cost me $150 for literally, she did 5 minutes of work. But so to do something like that would probably cost me like another $1,000, and I'm not that heavy.
Rather spend it in comics.
Yeah, or either that, or I'd rather pay the credit card companies for when I bought comics. So
Yeah, exactly. So,
right, so
back to Tattoos of the Crow. Back to the Crow.
Right. So we'll travel.
What's your first exposure to the Crow? What was your first exposure?
I'll tell you what hooked me in. When the trailer first came out, and this ties back into tattoos. Oh, I'm getting up too often. All right, so this was my first tattoo. I've always
the theater
been,
mask.
Growing up as a troubled youth, we'll leave it as that. I've always been fascinated by the comedy and tragedy masks, which are usually affiliated with, the theater.
The theater.
Right, the theater. But for me, it's kind of like I like the way that happy and sad are always never far apart, and a lot of the times interlaced. So for me, growing up as a kid, that resonated with me. When this trailer for this movie first came out, and it had to be 1992, which resonated with a 19-year-old Nick, because in the silhouette, or in the scene where it shows him in that big picture glass window, there's a comedy and tragedy.
Yeah.
So automatically I was like, holy crap, I gotta go see that movie. So that was the first.
Yeah, and it's a striking movie, all in all. But I don't remember seeing the trailer, but I know the image you're talking about, and it's a visually striking movie,
right,
to say the least at first.
What got me then is you see that, like the white mask, beautifully, quickly displayed by a bolt of lightning, and it was just amazing to me. All right, so that was the first hook. The second hook was what Steve brings up here, the fact that it was Bruce Lee's son, which I've always been a fan of Bruce Lee. Fascinated with the fact he died 10 days before my birthday, or when I was born. So that was another little additional hook. And that time also was like music was evolving too.
Dude.
Because in the early 90s, it was all grunge. It was all, Nirvana, Pearl Jam. And there was another band called Stone Temple Pilots who have a song on this soundtrack that till this day I sing to the top of my lungs, called The Big Empty. And it was on this soundtrack. So that was
the soundtrack for this movie, for all the Crow movies, because there's a few movies. The first movie is excellent. The soundtrack is excellent. The second and third movie, I think there's a fourth, have great soundtracks, not so great movies, but Skev, amazing soundtrack.
Yeah, and for me, it's kind of like a gateway, because that listening to Stone Temple Pilots with that song, and then there were a couple other bands on that soundtrack that I evolved into. There's a great Rage Against the Machine song there, which for me to this day is my go-to when I'm at like the gym, and it'll tie in again also. So Rage Against the Machine is a great Henry Rollins song on that, a few other great songs. So that was no, sir. Next con I'm going to be as a local one here in Texas, and then I think it's going to be the maybe Planet Con in Kansas City coming up. Yes, that's the one I forgot. That song, amazing, amazing song. So it kind of ushered me into my old music tastes, kind of into my newer ones at the time. So we have
Let's not forget The Cure.
The Cure, yeah. No, for me, I like The Cure before that, and that song on that
Oh, no,
album,
of course, but it's a great song.
right. Also, the Jesus and the Mary Chain on that one, a couple of other instrumental songs that were just fantastic. Just a great soundtrack of all time. I wanted to put it against Lynx's challenge of Purple Rain as being the greatest, but I have to agree with him.
I mean, Purple Rain is a conceptual piece.
Mhm.
But in this case, The Crow is a soundtrack, but it's not. The songs are not made for the movie or as a conceptual piece together with the movie. I mean, it's a different beast altogether for me.
Right. But I mean, I even tried to find a loophole that I might put something against that, but I can't. So, all right. So we have the comedy,
Striking visuals,
the visuals, the
amazing music.
The Bruce Lee aspect with his son in it. Also, the fact that I was dating a girl at the time that I was madly in love. I mean, at 19, you're pretty much madly in love with anything those days.
With whoever gives you the time of day.
Whoever, you know. So
you're a hormone recipient.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
You know, if they're willing to, I'm all in. So we went to go see this movie. It was definitely a must see for the movie, and I found out later it was based on a comic book. I had no clue. So you guys can see up there. You know, I have the original one, and knowing that, I bought that at the time. So I've had these since 94 or 95, with just recently they've been graded and, you know, signed and all that stuff. This one here is the Caliber Presents #1, which was the first appearance of the Crow.
First appearance, not a cameo. The first appearance.
Well, we're just trying to stir up the crowd, but we'll leave that alone.
Yeah.
I've actually never read that book, and I just picked that up because Tyler made fun of me that I didn't have it, and I had to wind up. Was it Tyler or Mark? One of those.
Yeah, one of those two assholes.
Really interchangeable, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I wound up buying that one a couple months back, and I don't know if you will this into existence, but next week James O'Barr is going to be here in my neighborhood. He lives in Texas. He lives in northern Texas. So
yeah, I spoke to him yesterday. I told him, you go there and say hi to my friend Nick.
All right, I'll be sure to bring you up so this way I can make sure he gives me a good price. I'm gonna, like, these four all up here are all signed. This one's double signed. This one is going to be remarked and signed, and also it's going to be slabbed that way. That's the back of the book, not the front of the book.
Oh, you're going to slab it?
I'm going to slab it reverse. I was at CBCS yesterday, and they said they'll do it for me like that. So
cool. Cole, this is Nick's younger brother.
Much younger, much better looking brother. I'm going to grow
just as strong as a chin. He doesn't need a beard to have a strong chin.
It's still firm too, Ignacio. Not too bad. Not too bad.
You lucky dog. I don't think I'm firm there. Well,
right. I'm not Nick. I'm Rick. Rick. Leave it to Cole to be funny. So like I said, I found out it was a comic book, so I went out and I bought the trade to read. I bought the floppies after, and these are all my original, books that I've had. Like I've had this since the early '90s too, or the mid '90s, I should say. The movie, while very close, and a lot of the stuff translated from the books to the movie. The movie like added the daughter, added the cop.
Yeah, oh, the daughter.
Yeah, and that was a hook for me for the second one, because I remember seeing the trailer for the second one and she had wings on her back, tattooed. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to see that one thinking it was just like the first one, and it wasn't.
It wasn't. No.
It wasn't. And subsequent ones like TV shows and all this other stuff, while they had a couple of good castings,
Yeah.
always fell short. Always fell short for me.
Yeah.
So, I was speaking earlier that I was 19 at the time, heavily in love, and just all of the imagery and stuff really hooked me into that movie. What really cemented it was not long after seeing the movie in '94. I broke up with said girl, and I was just devastated,
Of course.
heartbroken. So the fact
You went full emo, as you do, of course.
well, I didn't have fingernail. Well, I
You
didn't have
could.
black fingernails and stuff like that, but it was a terrible thing for me at the time to go through. I mean, looking back now, it's just another one of those things. But and that further cemented this movie for me because it was a love so powerful it transcended death, and I kind of hoped that I would fall into that, or the girl would come back to me, whatever. And
Yeah. Those.
never.
I mean, The Crow fulfills several fantasies as a movie and as a comic, even stronger. That's the eternal love fantasy that every first lover has, because the love that they have, that Eric and Shelley have, it both in the comic and in the movie, it's like a youthful, eternal, happy love.
What you always wanted to be.
Exactly. And then you have the revenge fantasy. If anyone should ever took that away from you, that eternal love, that transcends, in this case, death, then what would you do? You will fuck them up, and that's what Eric does. And so it's a hard comic. Now that I've read it, being 41 now, and not, I don't know. I think I read it the first time when I was 13, 14.
Yeah.
So a lot of things flew over my head, and I skipped the poetry parts. I didn't care for that.
See, that got to me. That got to me also. Like I wanted to find. He talked about songs from Joy Division.
Yeah, but you were 19. I was 14. I didn't care about the lovey-dovey part. I cared about the magnificent art first and foremost, and second, the revenge. Because I mean, I was 14. I knew what I had it for, but I didn't use it yet. So love was an ideal, and it was well represented in the book. But the poetry part eluded my sensitivity. It was, okay, this is poetry. Who cares? Let's see the killing part, or the lovey-dovey part, where they show you how much they love each other, and why this dude is so revenge driven enough to come back from the dead and hunt these people. Because the comic is Eric Draven comes back from the dead, hunts the people that killed his his wife, his soon-to-be wife, because they don't get married in the book. It's all truncated because of that their death, because they both die. And then you have Eric Draven as the Crow, exacting revenge because of his dead girlfriend, and then you have his flashbacks that are so tortuous because he suffers through the whole ordeal. He's not happy, or he's not at ease because he gets to have revenge because of Shelley's death. He still suffers,
right,
every fucking day.
Right, and all of those flashbacks were very softly lit. It was always a beautiful, poignant moment, and that, and up until that point where he gets stabbed for the final time, and you see him visually fall over, and just everything from that point on is just on its head. Just not going to be what it was just then. And that was another thing also too. So you'll see imagery like this, just very violent, and what you hope for when you're angry, just everything burning to the ground.
Yeah, very striking imagery, the comic.
And then you'll see soft, beautiful stuff like this, very, loving, and just stuff like that. And for me as a person, especially back then, I had problems expressing what I felt.
I still do.
I do too. I think now, as I'm older, it's more about not caring what other people feel, but it's more important to get out how you feel now. So if I'm upset or angry or something, I'm going to let you know, and then you can deal with that however you need to. But I'm going to let you know now. But for me,
you have more tools in the pocket, in the bag.
Well, you would hope, right?
Yeah, at least.
But back then, I'm kind of like Leo in that meme where it's like, that's how I feel. That's how I feel. And let something else, take the reins instead of me expressing how I felt. So I guess the Crow and the anger and the revenge part of it kind of dealt with the anger issues I had back then too. So, but while I was a big Crow junkie then, because it had so many hooks, over the years, things like this will come. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I got to get that. It'll evolve, stuff like this.
Yeah.
Or little things every now and again. This is the movie, and this will be like the comic book accurate.
The comic book version, yeah.
So you'll see them. And both of them I like, but you know what too? Now I hadn't noticed until they came out with like high definition stuff. He has that scar in the movie. And I didn't realize
he has it?
He does, but it's very, very faint.
Never noticed it.
It's not as pronounced as it is in the comic.
And it's a strange scar because you see when he gets the scar, but it's not a realistic scar. It's not it's a tear that runs through his face, basically.
Right.
Because I mean, at least for me, I think, or I interpret it as a tear, because, well, dude, he's experiencing hell while still alive.
Right. Now that's the way I felt about it too. But it's very like, if the light hits it, you'll notice it. But it's there. Like, I didn't notice that too. Like little cool things like this too. And I bought this when I was just getting into Pops, and it was expensive at the time. This one's like $30. But I was like, it's the Crow. I need it.
Of course you do.
And then you'll see stuff like this, from Sideshow. This is like a $250 thing. I was like, I need that too.
Of course you do.
This one, I was actually A-okayed from a man Slotted Up, which was an awesome thing. But I don't even want to take this.
That's
You know,
some epic A-OK, man.
no, this was this I and you and I both know
You're a
that
crier.
yeah, when you get something like that that hits you, that's something so prominent in your life, yeah, it'll hit you in your feels. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I'm not gonna cry now.
yeah, I'm a crier too. No, well, I hope you already cried about it.
Man, I'm over
I
it.
still get some chills when I talk about some things about this book because uh, reading it again, it brought a lot of things back to the surface about about the time passing and his art. James O'Barr's art is it's outstanding in the book because he's striking when he does violence. He's striking when he does expression. His characters are very expressive. The character have big eyes
Mhm.
and very expressive hands, and he experiments with the medium. I mean, this is all in black and white, but he has such a variety of tools on display on every page of the comic because there are parts that it's mainly ink on whiteboard,
Right.
but then you have some pages that have patterns, brushes. I think there's some collage, if I'm not mistaken. But he plays with blades at some point, if I recall correctly, to scratch the blacks. And he does softer lines for flashbacks. He's a master, and he becomes a master even as the issues go by. And he's amazing when he starts, but he's even more amazing when the book ends.
Right. And these three pieces are all done by him. With this one being the last one, like, and you'll see those details, like you mentioned with the blades and different kinds of mediums. He'll mix up different things within, and you can see it, whether it's marker or paint. The line work in these are all fantastic. And what the funny thing is moving to Texas. I ran into him 2017, 2018. I'm not one to get starstruck, but I was nervous as fuck to meet this. And in meeting him, I showed him these two art pieces. Like, listen, Mr. O'Barr, I've been a fan for a very long time. Uh, I'm sorry for what you had to go through to create this work because it's
Yeah,
based on his life and losing a girlfriend or a loved one to a car accident or a drunk driver at the time. And I told him I was sorry for that, but it helped me through my life. I was glad that he created what he created. And I was especially proud to show him both of these. And he was like, thank you. Those were terrible. I was like, what? I was like, I fell in love with these two pictures. Like these things were my
give
life.
me back my money.
And he was just like, yeah, those suck. So I was like,
Well, you can buy them for me.
so when you talk to him next time, tell him you broke my heart a little bit. But I had him draw this one last time. I was like, listen, just make me, and I don't want to pull him off the wall again, but I'll take close pictures and put him up. I was like, just give me a sad one, and he created that one for me. And like I said, he'll be here next week. He'll be at a convention. I don't even know if you can call it that. I'll have him remark and sign that one. And then later on that night, he's going to be at a showing of the movie where he's going to be doing commentary. So I'll see him then also. And to see him for the first time, it was weird. And not to say, I would imagine he's got a lot of money, but he looks homeless. Like
Well,
he's a very disheveled kind of guy. And
he's not ostentation, and besides, I think it's his persona is like that. He's a troubled person.
Mm.
I mean, read the fucking comic, and it hurts. And I'm just reading what he experienced, what he came up with. It's not an easy comic to read, even more so now that I understand more about it. When I was a teenager, I didn't understand a lot of it, the subtext, the emotions. But now that I'm older, I get to read it again, and dude, it wasn't easy to finish it.
Right. And I guess now that we've experienced loss, we kind of know what it's more about too. So
Yeah,
yeah, and I guess he
you
never
grow in
really,
empathy.
Mhm.
You
He
grow
never
in
really
empathy.
got over it, or it still has its hooks in him pretty deep. Whereas it was for me at the time, it was a breakup with a girl who I thought I was in love with.
Yeah,
But
he got crystallized in that moment, and that emotion he deal with it in the comic, but the comic it's anger, it's pure anger, and that's crystallizing him. It's my opinion, of course. I'm talking out of my ass, but and then he got involved in doing a movie about his creation, and Brandon Lee dies. And then I remember an interview with him uh, of him saying he was involved in writing a second Crow movie or something because he was involved in the first one, and he's involved in every aspect of every adaptation of The Crow,
mm,
which is excellent because he's there at least as a producer or as a supervisor. But he says, I try to write new dialogue, new things, and I'm trying to write for Brandon, and I can't because Brandon is dead. I mean, dude, choose to not suffer for a second. But he chooses to suffer because that's how he expresses his art. So he pays for us.
or
He's
maybe he's right. So maybe
our
he's just,
personal Jesus.
and maybe and that too is like if you see that picture, that kind of looks like, and that picture itself kind of looks like Jesus, and it's named the crown of thorns. And you'll
There
see
you go.
that like within the illustration, he'll throw little things in there like I'm suffering, or crown of thorns is actually in that one. So yeah, it's rough. I can't even imagine what he went through or still may be dealing with. But yeah, I'm happy he created it, and I'm sorry for what he had to go through. So
Well,
and
and
it's
and there's some differences in the story of the book and the story of the movie, because in the book Eric Draven, the Crow, uh, uh, he's indestructible. You cannot kill him. He's a force of nature. You cannot catch the crow like in the movie and hurt the crow and you hurt the Eric Draven.
right.
No, there's no such thing in the comic. In the comic, he is vengeance. He's death incarnate. And the crow talks to him, and the crow, he's the only one that can see the crow. No, well, I think that the boss of the
Right. There were a
he
couple of
sees.
other special circumstances, especially.
Yeah, when you're close to death, basically, you can see the crow because he sees him when he's about to die. When he's been shot twice in the head, basically,
Mhm.
and the gang is raping and killing his wife, his soon-to-be wife. He's alive and he's watching what happening, and the crow is telling him, "Don't look.
Look away.
You don't have to look away. You
Mhm.
don't have to look." And he keeps looking because, well, he's fueled by this, and that's what brings him back. Because
Brutal.
by that image, that the crow takes him away,
Mhm.
because the crow is there when Eric dies, but his anger, his need for vengeance is so strong that the crow brings him back a year later so he can accept his vengeance.
Yeah, yeah, and you know what? And that time too, I'm all about the imagery and buying stuff. And I mean, for me, it's funny because this turns into, this is all of the pictures within. It'll turn into like this was from the second movie, which in my opinion wasn't that good, and a couple of teen pinup stuff. But this one right here in particular really resonated with me because it's from that, and I think it's right before the iconic line, "It can't rain all the time," where he's just standing up, and you'll see that picture from the movie.
Yeah.
And if you notice right there, was another perfect reenactment of that picture on that cover.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to get that one. So it's not
that the level of fidelity in the adaptation, it's amazing.
For that one, for the first one.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, and for me, what's funny too is like the whole ending, and I guess it's because it wasn't really faithful to the comic. I really didn't like it much.
I think it works in its own medium. The comic as a comic, the movie as a movie. I think they work. Right. I like them both.
Like I thought it was okay for like what you said, but there's that part towards the end where he runs into the girl again, the next door neighbor, for the final time. Well, for the final time in that movie, and I was just like, I really could have did without it.
Yeah, it's not necessary, but it's sometimes those things are a product of its time. I mean, there wasn't not a lot of space for such a bleak movie back then. And
no.
Well, it kind of carved its way, and then you got Strange Times, Dark City. There was a very clear wave of dark movies from that era. But The Crow was kind of avant-garde in that case, in my opinion, because it dealt with things that I haven't seen in movies before that, and it kind of didn't happen a lot after that either.
Yeah, and it was one of those one-off things where you can't recreate it because there were so many things like lightning in a bottle that caught it that one time to make it so good. Like, and I know in that whole time frame, Pulp Fiction came out as well, and that's just another trend-setting, crazy movie that never existed before, and you really can't recreate. I mean, you can emulate it, but that whole thing again is just.
It's like it's like comic cover homages.
Right? It's like a 301 over and over and over, a 300 over and over.
Exactly.
But yeah. So I mean that's my love. I mean it had more bearing on it at the time because like the movie, it was lightning in a bottle for me. Age, music, comic books. Oh, wait. We've been waiting for this guy.
Oh.
We've been waiting. And you know why we've been waiting? Because I want to show this off. Love it. See, and much like this ties perfectly in because like lightning in a bottle, you get to watch this just over and over. Love that guy. Like I was saying, it's just one of those things that for me at the time, it was one of those things that stood out to me. It called to me in my life. And I don't want to say it's diminished throughout my life, but it just ties me back to that time. It just ties me back to that time. Still an enjoyable read. I'm excited to go next week to see the movie with the creator there himself to see what kind of insight he brings forth. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, besides that, that he was there. He was toiling away with the production of the movie. And he was there for every production of every movie in uh, more or less involvement. Uh,
And you know,
let's not forget that there's a lot of producers around changing stuff. So
yeah, and
the
I
fact that
mean,
James O'Barr is there, it doesn't guarantee that his vision is going to be respected.
right, right. The movie, the studios will always have their hooks in it, so to speak.
Yeah,
But I brought this up to him when I met him in 2017. Also, I was like, because the rumors of a remake were coming
yeah.
about, which I'm always kind of iffy about. I mean, would I want to see it again? Maybe. I mean, I'm not
I don't
wholeheartedly,
know.
but there was talks of Jason Momoa being cast in the
Yeah,
Eric
forget about
Andrew
it.
Draven movie.
No.
Then I thought it was a good thing because
Dude,
he wasn't like that. Hey, what's up, dude? Like all like physically,
oh, okay.
he looked the part. Now he's too big, and I always see him, even though Aquaman is kind of like a badass. I always see him like, yeah, whoa, come on, and that's not the part for me. That's not the part for
Yeah, he's Conan. I like when he did Conan. Maybe not the best Conan movie, but he's a good Conan.
me. Mm-hmm.
He's very truthful to the books. But Eric Draven, I don't think so.
So
I
you think?
mean, do we really need a remake of this movie? Maybe a remastered version, or I don't know. It's for me, it's just a classic. But maybe a retelling for new generations would be good. It wouldn't be for us. It would be for my son, for example.
Right, right. Did I wouldn't want it done, but the fact that I don't want it done doesn't mean shit.
Well, it means
But
that it should probably be done.
right, right. If there's money in it, they'll do it. That's
Of
the whole
course.
thing. So I just hope it's faithful enough, and they don't try to recreate the magic. I don't think there's recreating the magic. Just try to catch the essence of what the comics were all about, and hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully it'll be
Yeah,
good.
as far as I know, the last attempt to adapting it was what 2018 or
Right
something like
around there.
that.
Yep.
But it kind of gets stuck in production hell over and over again.
And I don't know
I
if that's
mean,
people fighting against it or if it's just a normal Hollywood nonsense, but
for as far as I know, it's not easy to get projects out of the ground, and it's not an easy project to get out of the ground. I mean, the Crow, it has its cult following and all, but it's a product of its age, basically, of its era. The 90s, the end of the 80s, the beginning of the 90s, the kind of movies or the kind of liberties people were taking with movies is not the same as today. Today, you need to conform to a very strict mold, or you get out of the system. For example, Guillermo del Toro does his latest movies. He does them uh, for under $25 million of budget or something like that.
mm,
Just because the studio doesn't pay attention to those movies that are less than $25 million. So he has more creative freedom. So he can do, I don't know, Crimson Peak. I don't remember the name of that one. It's a dark fantasy, a ghost story.
mm,
Uh, so maybe if they manage to do a good low budget movie, it would be more appealing, as it would be more. It would be allowed to be more free or more uh, creative with what the source material is, and it wouldn't have the hand of the studios so much in the mix.
Right, right. Yeah, we'll see. I'll see. But we're coming up on the third. Oh Jesus, am I that old? The 30th anniversary of this movie. This year or
Shit.
next? Yeah, yeah.
Next, no, what? 92,
It's
94?
got to be 93, 93, 94. Late 93, I think it was. Yeah, and speaking of that movie you just talked about, Del Toro's Nightmare Alley, I wanted to like it, but it felt too long.
I haven't seen it yet.
Right.
Nightmare Alley.
Yeah, see, it wasn't bad, but it for me it just felt a little too long. Yep, see, that's another classic right there, Luda. Yeah, I mean, I think I've spoke enough. What tied me, or what still ties me to The Crow? Does anybody in the chat have any more questions, or you have anything else you want to ask me about this favorite?
Besides that, we will have an update on James O'Barr visit as soon as you come back from that con, if you can say it, if you can call it a con.
Yeah, it's at a mall. That's why I say there's a mall. I think Mark Brooks is going to be there.
It's a nerd gathering.
Yeah, so to speak.
Well, works either way. No, I don't. I don't know. I can think of any question now. But it's an impactful movie, an impactful comic in both of our lives, because I saw this thing when I was 12, 13. It blew my mind, the movie and the comic. And
just look how beautiful and soft all the flashbacks were.
Yeah. The first one, I think the first flashback is the one with the horse running in the meadow, and he's in a train.
Beautiful paintings in between.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then
Yeah. And he's looking at the horse. He's going in the train. He's looking at the horse, and the horse is there. It's really good. It's really well drawn. And then the horse, dude.
Just a metaphor of how life can be just so beautiful, just going along, carefree, easy, carefree, and there's life just to make you dog food.
Yeah, there's always barbed wire in the path.
Yeah, and you know what's funny too? Picking this up nowadays, being the old man that I am, I would think that it's a good read. I'm not sure I would read the poetry like you said. Or I would care about the little snippets or the lyrics from Joy Division or The Cure, and that wouldn't resonate with me. But coming out the time that it did, this one played a big part of my life. So.
Well, I skipped the poetry when I was younger, and I read it now, so it works full circle.
But I'm the kind of guy, like if I see like in Department of Truth, it's written words, or in Spawn they have the news, I'm like,
Forget about it.
You know this one in Argentina?
Dude, that's from Italy, so you know it, I know it. Like the Moloch that Ronnie James Dio.
Yep, and that girl who I did at the time was Greek and Italian, and all those terminologies came up to that. So, for me, The Crow filled a hole, and I hope in my discussing it with you guys, and Ignacio, thank you for bringing this up, I may have
expanded and filled your holes.
Expanded or closed the gaping hole if you wondered about what it was with The Crow with me. So I have to ask, since we're going to close out, what are you looking forward to in the next week, aside from kicking COVID in the nuts and feeling better?
Yeah, well, basically that is the most important part. And then, well, I'm beginning to work on Killaroo, the sequel for Semper Fidelis. I'm already working on designs and covers and a cover. We're playing with that. I want to get back on track because I kind of fell back. It was like a forced vacation with a very shitty placement, very shitty location. So once I am 100% back on my feet, I want to get back to work.
Okay. Off your knees and back on your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you have the other Kickstarter ongoing now, which is awesome. I mean, it's hitting a lot of goals. I'll add it again. I don't think I added it this week.
I don't know.
On the fly, but I mean,
yeah, we're already planning number 2 of the anthology.
I mean, there's Ignacio. You know, he's going to do good work. I mean,
I do my best. If I do it, I give my 100%. If not, I'm not doing it. So
he doesn't mess around. He doesn't mess around. He always goes in to fill the hole to the best of his ability.
Balls deep.
So like these little balls. He's always maybe a little bit in. See,
we couldn't keep the episode 100% serious.
Just for you, Marcus. Yep, we'll always tie it back to the hole. For me, tonight I have the hot seat with that guy.
Never gets old.
9:30 p.m. on the Gary B, the Casual Comic Guys channel. Tomorrow, as always, I'm going to show my growing beard on the Legion's chat tomorrow. And I think that's it for now. It's a big weekend for me. I have the wife's birthday, we have the Super Bowl, and we have Valentine's Day. So it's
lots of food.
Lots of food, lots of money spent, and
oh, damn it. Right. My anniversary. You remind me of that.
Yeah.
I met my wife on Valentine's Day.
How sweet. How sweet.
Drak.
And it's good that I reminded you too, because this way you'll be alive, hopefully, for next week's show.
Yeah.
She won't kill you. I mean,
she's not capable right now because COVID kicked her ass. So I can still win.
right now, and you got to take advantage of that.
Yeah, of course.
But that's about it, guys. We want to thank you for coming out. Appreciate you always. The chat, thank you again. You know, it's cool always to talk to Ignacio, but to see Cole's, Pandas, Justin's, Steve's, Marcus, La Cruz's, everybody in the chat always coming out. Thank you so much for your support. And don't worry, we'll fill your holes next week.
We'll be back.
Have a good one.